How's it going, guys? Welcome to my new updated settings guide video. I did have an old settings guide video, but Wargaming have changed what settings are now in the game, as well as my system has changed. So, I figured I'd go back and update it. I still see a lot of people with some settings that are quite questionable, so let's get started. Straight in the general tab, the chat channel doesn't really have much information. A lot of it's just or usefulness rather. A lot of it's just what annoys you in things like, for example, if you don't like getting random platoon invites in battles, you can turn that off. This is the only thing I would really point out, and it's something I like to have on, but because so many people say hello to me, I don't want them to think that I'm just blatantly ignoring them. But it's really nice to have that off, because when you have battle chat off, you basically, so much crap is spread through there. It's just better to focus on what you're doing. When you're a platoon, it still works, and you still get to use the pinging on the map, your F7s and everything like that. So it still works like that, but you don't have to get all the random pubby chatter, which is usually not helpful whatsoever. You can always turn it off or uncheck it mid-battle if you need to say something or thank someone or do something like that. So I think it's, for your sanity, it's nice to have it off by checking it. So random battle types, I do have encounter and assault on. I just find it refreshes the battles a little bit, and also I think a lot of these is a lot of potential to do really well on encounter and assault battles. A lot of the maps do allow you to play quite well and do a lot in battles. So I have them on, but again, your choice. Battle recording, I like having replays on, so if you want, that's useful. Doesn't really take up much space to have a replay, so on this is a lot of this is mostly preference, at least up here. I don't like the optics effect in sniper mode. I think that's distracting. I know when I'm in sniper mode I don't need that. Dynamic camera, now this is new. You can now have horizontal stabilization in sniper mode without dynamic camera, so I have that checked off now. You definitely want that on though. Server reticle is up to you. Personally, I find it gets in the way, but I understand if you want it. It is quite useful. The next important thing here is enable expanded minimap features. If you are not running mods or XVM or any kind of minimap mod, definitely have that on always. The only reason you would have it off is if you already have a mod doing that for you. Otherwise, it'll dual layer it. So have it on always, guys. Very useful. View range indicators on the minmap. Again, this is just like this. If you're not running mods, make sure all of these are checked on. I can't stress that enough. So if you don't have these on and you're not running mods, please put them on. Now into graphics, you can see I have it in full screen. That's only to record because Shadowplay doesn't let me do it properly when it's in window mode, which is what I play with. So we'll just ignore that. But on the FOV, I have it on max, or I did have it on max. Oh yeah, because I dragged it for lols. But anyways, yeah, there's no reason to have it any less than 120. So make sure you have that on max. Nothing else is really that important. It'll change anyway if you take it off full screen. The only thing I'll point out here is the color filter. I like to have a color filter on. I just think like the normal one, sometimes it's too bright and you can't see things properly. On some maps, they are too dark and you might need a bright one. I like to have deep, but sometimes the map is too dark for deep to be nice, so I put it on photo. But you can play around with this a little bit. I like to think that some of these make at least objects sharper in the image, less blurred by brightness. So I like it. It's up to you, though. You don't have to have it on. In here, you can see that everything is maxed except for 3 things up here and the motion blur, which is on low. I like a little bit of motion blur, but I think having it on high is a little bit too much. So I'll just basically, all this stuff is turned all the way up because I have a high-end machine that can run it now. You can run it low if you want, obviously for FPS, and if you have a slower machine, you can run it low. I mean, people in games have, in order to play at a high level, have traditionally had a lot of their game settings on low on purpose, because you can see more and there's less effects distracting you and there's less FPS drop. For World of Tanks, I don't think it's that big of a deal. The only things I would make sure I have off are these. You do not want these on. Floral Density is basically grass on the ground and other things like that. It basically limits your vision, so don't have that on. Extra effects in sniper mode, this is like explosions and things like that from your gun and other things like that. You don't want that on because, again, it limits your vision. And this is the same sort of thing. So these are the three that I would definitely have off. Grass and sniper mode, you want to have that unchecked because grass and sniper mode is going to impede your vision. Once again, you don't want that. Foliage Transparency, that allows you to see through things easier when you're closer to bushes and things like that. Basically, this stuff, I mean, you definitely don't want that on, but enable track traces, and that's up to you. It's an effect that basically leaves a track, so you can see where your allies have been going. It's whatever, not that useful, so I have it off. Sound, the only thing I would point out here is that I have national crew voices. People ask me about this still. This was updated a long time ago. Basically, this means that your crew will respond in whatever language they're actually from, so useful. Controls, I don't think there's a point to really go over controls, other than that, if you're curious, that's my sensitivity settings. I don't really think that's really important. I guess it's whatever you really like, but whatever. Now, people do ask me about this a lot. People still think this is a mod, so I'm going to point it out here. Basically, it's aim point for the center dot here, aim point 1, and then for this, it's O-shaped 3 that I have. So, basically, that's so that the dot lines up with the little thing, and I know that I'm perfectly aimed, and that's how I like to aim. I have the same settings in sniper mode. Basically, on arcade, I'll go between dashed and diagonal. Dashed if I feel like I just want less on the screen. But on sniper, I always have it on dashed, and that's so I have less on the screen. So when I'm in sniper mode, the last thing I want is like some huge reticle thing going off. So yeah. Basically, that's why I have it like that. So that's my reticle settings. And finally, moving on to marker settings. People, for some reason, still have percent of HP, and I have absolutely no... It's the stupidest thing. Please, please, please change that to HP left. Percent tells you absolutely nothing useful. You definitely want their hit points showing. Now, whether you would just want HP left, for example, you can do that if you want. I like out of the total, so you can see how much that tank did have. But it's up to you, and then you can just basically show all this stuff. I do it the same on both enemy and our team settings, and then for this I have it just like this because it doesn't matter whether they're destroyed because you know they don't have any hit points left. So yeah, that pretty much sums it up, guys. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Play around with your settings a little bit. I still feel that some people have settings that are limiting them a little bit, and hopefully you found some settings maybe in this guide that will at least help you, you know, if you find something more comfortable, if you like my reticle better or something like that. Hopefully it was somewhat helpful. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.